do this thing. All right. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's begin, shall we? How's it going, Joey? Joey.
Hello, hello.
How's it going, my dude? Happy birthday. I don't know if your birthday
Thanks,
today.
Drac.
Yeah. So, without further ado, I just want to wish you happy birthday. I know it's
Yeah.
yeah. Is there anything you're thankful for? Or I think we could do that at the end,
Well,
really, right?
yeah. Let's save that for the end.
All right. So, what are we gonna talk about?
Well, why don't we start off with Eminem's new album? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we could talk about Eminem's new album. So,
Let's start that being our first topic of today.
okay. So, what do you tell me about? What do you like about Eminem's new album? I personally, I loved it. Enjoying like
Yeah,
Killer and Discombobulated, which was one of the best tracks Eminem has recently
yeah. I think that one definitely was the best one out of the whole track. Trust me, I didn't even know he was releasing new music, and then you told me, and I was like, oh, I really gotta check this out. Drac obviously knows.
I mean, I knew Eminem was gonna release his album because it was all over his IG, and he was dropping.
Yeah.
Of course, his manager Paul Rosenberg, he was dropping a lot of hints, and this guy, like, he tackled a lot of artists in one of his tracks called Zeus. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Not wrong. This guy talked about which was it? Rihanna, Drake, Snoop Dogg. I'm pretty sure it was.
Well, that's traditional Eminem. He just likes to roast people in his songs, and like he doesn't give a damn what they think.
Well, I mean, I always want to say this, but you heard lots of Eminem songs in the recent years, right? We grew up with Eminem,
Yeah.
like listening to watching 8 Mile and listening to his
Yeah.
albums each year. Not each year, but the
Yeah, we
every time
grew up with his music.
every time he releases a huge one album, it's supposed to either be a hit or it's a flop. Like for me, Revival was it Revival? Yeah, Revival was awesome.
Yeah,
Relapse, on the other hand, Relapse was not bad. It was good. It was okay, in my point of view. I mean, it depends, like what you think.
I mean, Eminem doesn't really flop on his music. He tends to do an amazing job when he releases an album. Like everyone did say that the album before Revival was like, oh my god, what the heck? What happened to you, man? Your music, it didn't seem that good. But in my opinion, I liked every single song that he's released in the past time. Like, it's been great. I honestly don't have any issues with his music ever. It's always great to listen.
I mean, of course, like he dropped GNAT recently, GNAT. Right after he released his album on Spotify. Like I was listening to his track right in the album, like as soon as it dropped, because I'm a stan. I freaking listened to that. I was vibing into it, and then Lyrical Lemonade. It was like he just released it, and no one saw it coming. So it's like, and we were like, I was just listening to it. In my point of view, I think Music to Be Murdered By is one of the best albums currently, like 2020.
Yeah.
Side B just broke that record. Like it's.
Let's be honest with that, is that Music to Be Murdered By was definitely, like, out of any recent album that he's released, that is definitely the best album by far.
Well, I mean, a lot of fans could beg to differ because different generations, of course.
Yeah.
Your opinion, I understand that. But yeah, I would say that I don't know how far I would go if I would say side B was better than side A, original Music to Be Murdered By in the early 2020. Yeah. But I like both albums. I feel like Eminem just killed it at the end of the year. Like, he dropped 2 albums in 1 year. Side B was incredible. I loved Side B so much. It was one of the best albums I ever heard. For me, my top, what would be your tier list, for example?
Like my top music from him?
Like, you know how he has multiple albums, right? He has he has a lot of the Eminem Show, Encore, of course.
Honestly, I could go with Encore on the top of my list because I have I have every single one of his songs basically on my playlist right now.
Yeah.
But Encore is like one that I could literally listen to over and over again. Yeah. Like that one is sick. But now that he released Music to Be Murdered by Part B, I'm starting to listen to that over and over again because like it just came out, everything's fresh, like the lyrics he's spitting are great. Holy.
Yeah. I mean, dude, if I was supposed to make a tier list, like throughout your whole life of Eminem's albums, songs, and everything, what would be your like top favorite? Like straight up number one. Like you said Encore, but is there anything else like rank that's following that? Like, you know, like
I would have to like if I'm talking what my all-time favorite is, it would have to be like the original albums, like the album where he released Mockingbird and like the OG album.
Yeah, I mean, I remember my favorite,
because obviously we grew up to that.
My favorite album song, like to this day, is from "Till I Collapse" from the Eminem Show. For me, that album hits like nostalgia because that's like one of the earliest. That was one of the earliest albums I ever listened to. Like, sure, there was Kamikaze, which was outstanding. Like him and Logic hopped on one track. That was incredible. Homicide, it was so good. And of course, during the beef with Machine Gun Kelly, and that it was huge. Like I remember this was back when
remember that.
Yeah, this was. Back
I do remember that.
This was back when we were in like early high school, right? So like we were like about to graduate, and it's like I remember when Kamikaze dropped. Oh, this thing was huge. Like because this guy took shots at MGK in like most of his tracks, really. Like you know.
Yeah.
And then
but like
he still makes
we have
references.
to keep like, that was great. I remember when we were talking about it, like when that whole beef started, him and MGK, we were sitting there like, wait a minute,
could this guy really mess around with Eminem? And it's like
he dropped that track, and I remember me and you listening to it exactly on the day that it dropped, and we were like, is this guy mad? Is this guy crazy?
No, when MGK dropped Rap Devil, everyone was like, this guy's really going at it. And then
but then Eminem dropped his track, and then it's like,
well, I mean, he also did an interview, if I'm correct, right? With
I think he did something for an interview. Right.
Sorry, I might be a little bit too young. But it's like I forgot the guy who he was interviewing. But anyway, Eminem was like just saying this guy was just interviewing him about the beef. So it's like you want to go over the beef with MGK and Eminem, or?
Yeah, he was. I remember like everything that happened during that little period of time because there was that Rap Devil was released. Then Eminem released his one.
Yeah.
And then it was just album, like MGK released. I don't know. Did he release an album before Kamikaze came out? Because I believe there was something going on.
Damn, I'm trying to remember. I don't remember that much. I remember only Kamikaze because I'm kind of new to the Eminem game, right? Like, I mean, I listen to songs, but it's like when it comes to albums, I'm still kind of a bit new, right? So it's like
yeah.
So, but still, when I remember the whole beef starting off with like I think MGK did a tweet or something, right?
Yeah, that's how it all started. It all started from a tweet that he made.
I didn't know it started from a tweet. I was like I'm just on YouTube, right? I'm on YouTube and I'm just seeing like MGK. I don't know who MGK is at this point, right? MGK name he calls out Eminem. Some dude he's freestyling, he's dissing. I don't know who this guy is. And then I look back on it, and then I look at most of the informations, and it's like turns out MGK tweeted about Haley, which is this guy.
Yeah, that's
like for any rap artist
to pull that move,
man. That's kind of going a bit over. And to be honest, I feel like when he did that, of course, Eminem, he like in Rap Devil. MGK says about, you were mad about a tweet.
Yeah,
he wanted me to say sorry. It took him 6 years or something like to find about the tweet or something, right?
Yeah, but still, that's what he did. Like, I get he was just like being MGK, trying to be like, but don't bring up somebody's family in a tweet.
I know, but I remember specifically, there was one artist called Benzino. Do you remember MGK beefing with Benzino? It was like an old school beef. I think he also brought in Haley.
I don't know because I never really followed up with MGK.
Yeah.
I knew about his music. I knew about some of his songs, but I didn't like his music. You know what I mean? Like I was strictly all Eminem when it came to the rap.
When it comes to the beef, you had to choose sides. But like for me, like when I was like literally like during high school, right? You know how like other artists, rap artists would take beefs with like other people, and Eminem was one of the hugest ones in 2017. Like after like when he dropped out Kamikaze, I'm pretty sure Kamikaze.
Oh yeah,
2017. Yeah. But it's like people were like, "Yo, Eminem dropped the album. He's taking shots at a Machine Gun," and then come like a few months later or a few weeks later, MGK brings out Rap Devil, calls out Haley even more. As like you said, you were mad about a tweet or something, and then he's like, he talks something about Haley, and then he's just saying how Eminem's too old. Somebody grabbed his clippers, freaking beard's weird. That thing was hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know why he would really try and take shots.
You could tell like, I know Eminem's old, but this guy could still spit bars.
He's getting up there in age, obviously.
There, but his flow, his hype, his flow is like slim to none. I like to put that wordplay, but like this guy, like he drops out his Rap God. You remember Rap God? This guy, like, Rap God was one of those things. Like I was like, this guy is like lyrics coming at you with supersonic speed, and this guy just starts dropping like a bunch of in like multiple seconds. This guy drops a bunch of things, and like he also does like what was the things like Eminem normally does? Double entendres, right? I think that's what it's called. Like he always do like and remember the name, right? He's like funny. I had Pop Appeal, which was kind of like a double entendre to like, oh, I like Eminem also did drugs, but Eminem also was like he was still huge at his prime, right? Him and Dr. Dre. And
well, we all know that most rappers tend to have done something, and Eminem, he has obviously, but like. He's not addicted. Like he didn't go all out, and he didn't put all of his money and stuff into drugs, right?
No,
like he did obviously have a period, and that's probably why he didn't make music for the longest period of time.
Yeah.
But he still did good. Like remember the time he came out with the diss to Donald Trump? Like that was the first time we actually heard something from Eminem before he released any album.
No, I mean like and I remember that thing was huge. Like it was blowing up all over Twitter, and it's like except. I wished it was uncensored because I wanted to.
Yeah, because they censored it.
Like, no, you're not supposed to uncensor Eminem. Like this guy speaks, most like stands would be like, why? Like why'd you censor? Like it just doesn't sound good if you censor. And it's like that
we were
when we were younger, right? Like when we were back in high school, like the whole election thing, and then Eminem dropped a song where he dissed the former, like not the former, but the guy who's not in office right now. But it's like basically he dropped it, and then Killshot came. When Killshot came, I remember where I strictly was. I was at home. I turned on the notification bell, of course, on YouTube to see if Eminem was dropping it. Killshot came. I was early. I was like 2 minutes early into the song. I was like, oh my god, this guy's taking shots at like. So far, and it's like this guy also took a shot at Diddy, but then he was like, "No, I'm just playing Diddy. I love you." So it's like it was kind of hilarious how like I mean not hilarious.
Well, yeah, because he has obviously the people that he's friends with, he has the people that he likes, and he has the people that he's just roasting for the fact that he just can do it. Like he can do whatever he wants in the rap game. He can diss whoever he wants and get away with it.
No, I remember this guy was like, "You better not take Haley's name in vain." And then he was like naming all the people, Jaw, Benzino or something. He was naming all those people, and it was like, it was just huge. Like I remember I had to listen to it again and then repeat it on
like Kamikaze, that album when it was released and everything. Dude, that's just like throwing shots at everyone.
Do you remember Homicide? Homicide, dude, Logic and Eminem. That was such a great chemistry. Like that
one was good. Like when I first heard that track and it released, I was like. Damn.
I was like, damn, these guys
I
like.
did not expect, because especially Logic, right? Because Logic, he did a pretty fast verse at one point in that song, and I was like, whoa. Are you telling me that Logic is like the next Eminem coming up? Like, what's going on here?
I mean, I think. Wait, didn't I hear? Yeah, recently Logic. Damn it, Logic. He stopped his rap career, didn't he?
I'm not too sure. Like, I don't really follow up with most of the rappers around now, but
Well, I mean,
Logic,
you know, you listen to Drake and.
because he does have a bunch of music, right? He does have a few songs on there, but his most recent song, I'm pretty sure, is Homicide.
Yeah, the only song that I really listened to was Homicide because of Eminem, right? And then, of course, few years later, still till this day, this guy still takes shots at MGK, like Music to Be Murdered By. I don't know if you heard, but it's like, we got it, baby, we named it Machine Gun Kelly, and it's like, this guy, like, he's dropping a lot of things, and it's like, Kelly, you know.
Well, you see all the stuff that Machine Gun did, like, in that, he made a freaking song about him, he did all this stuff to try and roast him and everything. Of course he's still gonna take shots at him, because the idiot Machine Gun Kelly tried to mess with the rap god, literally. Like, don't mess with the actual rap god of the game. Like, you can't mess with Eminem. You can't screw with him, man.
Dude, I remember, if you listen to one of his tracks, I forgot what it was, but it's in Music to Be Murdered By. People were like, one of his lyrics was like, people ask me, is the war with MGK over? Of course it is. I cleansed him of his mortal sins, even the god. You know, like, basically, he's like, he's the god, and he always forgets. Like, he forgives the devil worshippers, which is like, you know, it was one of the greatest lines he ever dropped. Like, but still, that thing was amazing. Like, this guy, even till Music to Be Murdered By, Side B, dude, this guy still drops, like, names, and I don't know if we're gonna, like, you know, cut away from Killshot and, like, MGK's beef into a new beef, or, like, you know, what was considered to be, like, early 2019 or 2020 was it? No, I think 20. Nick Cannon. Do you remember that name? Nick Cannon with Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. Okay, so I remember as like like early high school days, early. I was trying to, like, go through Eminem's, like, beef and you know, basically Nick Cannon and Mariah Carey was one of them. So I started listening to him. I listened to The Warning, and I was like, oh my god, The Warning is one of the best diss tracks Eminem has ever done. Like, legit. Like, 100%.
He's literally made
so
many diss tracks.
This guy is, like so down with the beat, and as well, and Mariah Carey, he still took shots at Mariah, and I think Nick Cannon as well, but he was like, one of his tracks was like, what rhymes with pariah? And I was like, oh, he finally, like, he made a reference to this, because I don't know if you remember this, but Nick Cannon, he dropped out three diss tracks. One with the first one was like, what was it called? The Invitation or something? Invitation, Pray for Him, and then it was like the Invitation canceled. But like the first one was like, you know, he had Suge Knight, and then he calls him out. I'm pretty sure it might be like that. And then Pray for Him was like, you know, we're still calling him out, and then Invitation's canceled, basically doing a reference to, I don't know if you guys remember this, but Eminem, when he was younger, back to his, like, old school days with Proof, and I think it was with Proof, I'm not sure, but, like, back then Eminem was dating, like, a chick, and then he made a diss track on her, like, we're gonna say, like, race, right, like, you know, skin tone, right? So he was dissing, like, her skin and everything, and he got a huge backlash at that, and then it's basically, you know, and then, you know, what's good about rap beef is that they dig into, like, any screw ups you have done, and then they pick out it, right? So so basically, what Nick Cannon did was, like, he took that one track. The kind of weirdest thing for me is his recent, like, diss track, right? Invitation canceled. He made, I would say, is a trashy, like, diss. Well, I would say, like, I call it trashy, but it's not really trashy. But, like, I'll just say, you know, it's like something that you can't vibe to, kind of. I know this is kind of weird. Yeah. But it's like, this guy took a song that you can't vibe to, and he made it vibeable. So it's like, this guy is like, you know, he's like, he made his diss track kind of good to listen to, which was weird.
that's the thing. Like when you listen to Eminem, it's not like he just makes a song that you can't really vibe to, and it's not a diss track that you can't vibe to. It's like it's not even a diss. It's like a diss track that's an actual song, so it fits in. Like you could bop your head to that song, no problem.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing about Eminem. He's so great with making music that probably would not even sound good, make it sound great. Like
Yeah, I mean, I understand. And
think of it, if you had another rapper try to sing his music, what do you think would happen? Probably not be as good. Like
I mean,
he makes
didn't
everything
Logic
better.
sing one of his songs or something? I'm not sure, but anyway.
Well, because him and Logic are friends. Like they don't have beef.
Yeah,
They
I mean,
probably
Logic
Logic's
even
one of the
said,
rappers he's good with, right?
yeah, I mean, even Logic said like one of his childhood dreams was to meet Eminem, and he finally did it, and he got the respect and everything. But,
And think of it as like how many rappers, like all the people that he does like tracks with, like he does a lot of songs with Skylar Grey.
dude,
Like if you've noticed,
yeah, okay,
so
Stan
many
was
songs
one
with
of my
Skylar Grey.
favorite. I just vibe to Stan and the old school Eminem album, like the Marshall Mathers album.
Yeah, you remember the song Dr. Dre and Eminem.
Which one? There's tons, dude. Like you can't.
I Need a Doctor.
I Need a Doctor.
That
was wait, wasn't it?
That's
was
a classic.
Wait, was I Need a Doctor with Skylar Grey, or was it somebody else?
Yeah, Skylar Grey sung the chorus.
Oh,
He's like,
yeah,
like I'm saying,
dude,
she's
Grey,
one of his big people that.
Yeah, she came out to.
He and her.
Yeah, she came out to. I forgot what was the track, but I was surprised. I forgot what was it called. What was it called?
Because he did another for Part B. Because he had one in Part.
What was it called? Black
in the
Magic?
first. The new song with her?
Yeah, the new song.
I'm not too sure. I have to.
Okay, he just exited out the call. So yeah, I might have to edit this thing out, but we'll see. I'm gonna try to tell him to come back to the call just in case. Come back. I don't know why he didn't. You left the call. Okay, this is kind of awkward right now. I mean, it's okay. Yo, you're back.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulty.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, as I was saying, like Skylar Grey is like one of his big ones.
Yeah, I mean, dude, for me, my point of view, Stan would be one of my favorite songs with Skylar Grey. Recently, would be like I think Black Magic was it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, did you see you seen the Christmas thing, right? Like the guy did like a Christmas version of it with Elton John.
With Stan or?
Yeah, like it was like a version of Stan, but it was
100%. Yeah, I remember.
Like,
I remember. Yeah. It was.
I'm pretty sure you were the one who sent it to me anyway.
I might have. I'm not sure, but that was great. I have one. We could talk about Eminem so much, but it's like let's try to talk about like I have one last question, and then we could go on to the next topic.
Yeah, let's go on. We're gonna we could go on about Eminem forever, but we do need to.
I mean, we could talk about the early days listening to it, but I just want to end off the topic with one question. If you were supposed to diss Eminem, will you ever talk about Haley in your diss track?
Oh no! Like that's one thing. If I wanted to be like roasted hardcore and probably get killed by him, I'm never gonna. If I ever made a diss track on Eminem, I would never bring up his daughter. I would never bring up his family. Like I would just keep it to him, strictly about him and his music.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I know what you're saying because you gotta learn from those mistakes that people.
I learned from the mistakes of Machine Gun Kelly. You don't want to bring his daughter.
One more thing I want to talk about Machine Gun. Dude, I think that Eminem dissed him so hard, and this is just my opinion.
That was hard. That was hard. I remember listening to that track for the first time.
But people are saying that, dude, Eminem dissed him so hard that MGK had to switch genres. He had to switch genres of music. So I recently heard his music, like it's not rap considered, but it's like it's like one of those vibing like R&B. Yeah. I'm not sure, but it's like I vibe to MGK songs, but like this guy, because I still think of him as an artist, but what he did to Eminem was like come on, man. And I just love the references in Music to Be Murdered by Side B, dude. It has amazing references, like as well as
it does like. Probably the best that I've ever heard is in this one album alone, like both parts, the first one and Part B.
Yeah.
come together really well. Like he even has the songs from the first part inside the new album. Like it's great.
I remember yesterday
amazing.
we were hanging out because we were doing HWE pay-per-view. But I'll talk
Yeah, we're gonna
more
talk about that
yeah,
later in the podcast.
I'll talk about that later. But like, I just want to say, you said Eminem dissed COVID, so it was like kind of funny because yes, he dropped out. Like
He did.
He did. I
He
don't know.
literally
I can't
mentioned
tell
it.
if he did or not. But it was like, I'll just say that Eminem would be like, he dropped out GNAT, and he was like he's coughing, and he's like his bars are like COVID because you get him right off the bat. It was like
Yeah, he was talking about social distancing. He was talking about the virus. Like he literally had like a whole half a song, like almost half a song on it. It was great.
Dude, I remember it's like this guy in the first album, Music to Be Murdered By. This guy was like, I'm shopping with you guys with the same basket or something like that, and it's like now I'm ahead of you coughing with caskets. I was like,
Yeah.
That's great. But anyway, let's go to the next topic. And I know you are a huge wrestling fan. Joey, you are a huge wrestling fan.
You got that right, Drac.
Tell me, let's talk about wrestling in your point of view. I want to, since my podcast is basically based on like, I question you guys and you guys talk about it. So basically, tell me about wrestling. And of course, I have my fair share of wrestling too, but like, tell me about what you like. Talk about wrestling. Like, just tell me, like, what.
Honestly, I'm gonna be quite honest right now. I'm gonna be quite honest about it.
Yeah.
So WWE hasn't really had the greatest of storylines right now.
Yeah.
So it's been like so.
Yeah. For
the most recent thing, like here's one thing that I will say was probably the best thing that's happened in the past month is. What's up?
For those who don't know what WWE is, it's basically a company that basically brands out wrestling, right? So it's like, but yeah, I go ahead. You were talking about WWE. Go ahead.
Oh yeah,
storylines. Of course, I have my fair shares with storylines, and oh my god, I just have to say, early days had one of the best storylines, like incredible. But nowadays, I know. Nowadays they kind of dropped it, and of course there's new superstars as well as we have older generation superstars, but they're not they're not in their prime. They cannot really do something they cannot really they're too old kind of. I hate to say that, but they're like the people that we grew up with, you had Triple H, Shawn Michaels.
Okay, the only person that's left is really Randy Orton. Like Randy Orton's the last legend that we have.
Edge is returning, right?
Edge is back, but he's going to be coming back probably around WrestleMania season again to rival with Randy.
I can't wait, dude. It was incredible. Like, I felt like a kid again when they were
I'm really happy for the rivalry. I'm happy about what happened. I'm happy with the way that it played out.
Do you remember when they said the greatest match of all time? I gotta say,
that one.
I gotta say that was, for me, that was kind of flop. Can't really put that.
No, yeah, that's the thing. See, because looking at me, I'm a huge Edge fan. I'm a huge fan of Edge. I really.
For me, growing up, this guy was one of the best heels. Like him and Eddie Guerrero. Was one of the best. I grew up with these guys. I grew up with. Okay, so for you guys who don't know, as a kid, I recently I only use cable, but as a kid, WWE used to always tune in, and I would get SmackDown. I can't get Raw because Raw was something else for the cable box or something. But I would always
Raw was always on another place.
And we would normally just talk about they'll just go through Edge and Jeff Hardy and you had Matt Hardy, the insane rivalry they had, and you had Taker and you had Kane, and then you had Kane wasn't there, but still Edge and Taker, one of the best rivalries I had to witness as a kid. That was huge because it lasted from 2005 to 2010 or 9. I'm not sure, but still, that was incredible rivalry. I can't say more, but go ahead. You were talking about storyline.
This is the thing. So let me bring it up about what modern day now is. Right now in the WWE, there hasn't been any really good storylines, I would say, ever since the last good thing that's actually happened, and the last thing that I tuned in for, I was actually devoted to tuning in for, was when Undertaker retired at this past Survivor Series. That's probably about the best thing, and that's probably a very sad moment for me.
Okay, so I just want to give a little bit of overview to that scenario. So for those who don't know, the Undertaker retired this year, And I also did some TikTok videos as a tribute to Taker because he was one of those superstars that I fell in love with as a kid. But it's like this guy, he was there. Like, could you imagine that our whole lifespan was basically half of this guy's career?
Literally, that's what we could say.
It's
Like,
like
me and you
19,
have
or
grown up with this
19,
guy.
like recently. Happy birthday! You recently turned 19, but
Yeah, I know.
it's mind blowing because it's like Taker has been there since 1990 and even longer because this guy like
Yeah,
years,
see,
right?
30 years. 30
30
years.
years with WWE, but like he had extra years with other companies, right? So
Yeah.
but yeah, anyway, for WWE, this guy came in like 1990 Survivor Series, which is a pay per view, November 23rd, 22nd. But still, this guy came in. Of course, people thought, okay, this guy's character is gonna flop. Nope, this guy, like as each decade turns like 5 years or so, as the years go on, like first of all, this guy portrays a dead man or a mortician, and then he goes into a dead guy, and then he goes into a Lord of Darkness, a Prince of Darkness. Then he goes into a more edgier type of thing where this guy's like I would say Satanist, kind of like, remember the Ministry of Darkness where these guys would hung people from the
remember when he put
and,
Stone Cold up on the
on the symbol and everything? That was weird. And then he took a year off absence, and then boom comes out American Badass. No one was expecting that. And,
I remember the time when he even did it with Stephanie McMahon when he was trying to marry her or something like that.
Oh yeah, that was one of the best. That was one of the best things. Like, of course, JR, one of the best. Jim Ross, one of the best commentators, of course, in my
So Jim Ross now, we all know that he's done with WWE. He went to the other brand. He went to All Elite Wrestling.
But I wish he could come back, really, because this guy, dude, the Attitude Era wouldn't be him without Jim Ross. Like, come on.
Yeah, see, so that's what the thing is now. Our childhood, like, think of it like this: WWE. I'm a big fan of WWE, and I still like wrestling. Yeah. I still watch it. I still keep up to date, but I don't really tune in as much. Only for big events like SummerSlam, WrestleMania. Yeah. Those are, and the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and SummerSlam are the three big pay-per-views that you'll catch me keeping my eye and watching what's going to happen. But recently, now that The Undertaker's gone, WrestleMania is not going to be the same, right? We're going to have maybe a few good matches.
I was going to say, let's talk about, like you said, WWE. Let's talk about, like, more about the company, and we could talk about more of the superstars, too. But let's first talk about the company. So you said about the storyline, and it's not that good as it used to be, of course. But tell me about, like, I heard recently there's a rivalry going on, kind of like the Monday Night Wars with WWE and WCW, but it has to do with WWE and a different company by the name of AEW, All Elite Wrestling. Now, I'm not a fan, but you are. I think you are, but still, tell me about it in your point of view, because you watched it. If I was supposed to choose a side, like if I was back in the Monday Night Wars, I would choose WWE. Like WWF, right?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so yeah, we do have sort of going on with like a WCW, WWE now. It's like we've got that rivalry going on, and it's gonna happen.
From your point of view, like, what is the best? Is there a storyline? Like, I know there is, but I just want to say,
so
yeah, go ahead. Tell me about AEW. All right.
So right now, as it stands, like the most recent thing, like the reason I did tune into it is because Jon Moxley, aka Dean Ambrose, for anyone who did watch him when he was part of the Shield and everything.
Yeah.
He said a lot of things when he left WWE, and then there's a lot of other WWE superstars leaving to go to this brand, and it's because they're paying better, they're giving better matches, better opportunities. Like,
no, I remember.
Think of it, Dean Ambrose, when he was a part of, like, Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose, when he was a part of WWE, never got a title run. Like, he never really got one.
Yeah.
Then he goes into the AEW, and then he becomes the champion, like, right away. Like, that was probably the one reason I tuned in all the time.
Yeah.
And he recently lost it to Kenny Omega. I don't know if you know who that is.
Didn't he used to be in WWE, like, the early days?
No, I think he was part of, like, TNA or something like that. He wasn't really part of the WWE. That
sounds very familiar for me as a kid. I don't remember. But anyway,
Kenny Omega was a pro wrestler at one point, but now he's part of the
AEW, right? So I just want to say there's some weird thing like guidelines that I just need to say. So of course I'm just gonna say like a bunch of things. So superstars from WWE that are now doing like whatever, but it's like Paige, of course, one of them. Now she's a Twitch streamer. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think she has to do anything with WWE currently. But let me go throughout the whole list. There's Lana, and I just want to say this kind of controversial, kind of, because Lana is married to the WWE superstar known as Rusev. But in AEW, now he signed a contract recently. So he's now known as Miro, or I'm not sure if that's correct, but tell me.
Miro, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So you're thinking because they are married.
Yeah,
and they do.
I remember that had to deal. There was a huge thing that had to deal. Like Vince was kind of like, I watched WrestleMania, which is like where I get most of my facts from. He was like saying that Vince is not happy with the approach that Lana is getting because her husband from Rusev is now going to AEW, and it makes sense because of course you would have, if you're a pro wrestler. Of course, I don't know this, but I'm just assuming. But you would get contracts, and they would give you an amount of money, and of course, I'm guessing Rusev never got that.
Well, this is the thing. The thing about it right now is a lot of the superstars are also leaving due to COVID, and because WWE can't pay them enough now because they are losing a lot of money because they can't sell tickets, right? Everyone's doing this online thing.
Yeah, but
you're not buying tickets now.
Correct me if I'm wrong, dude. Does AEW have like people could buy tickets and go there, or is it like?
Okay, so there is like. I'm not too sure due to the COVID rules how they're working, but there is people, but I'm pretty sure it's just like other... Remember how, I don't know if you were watching it before when they did allow crowds. Before WWE used to do, when they allowed crowds back in, it was just other WWE superstars in around the arena. So I think they're doing the same thing. I'm not too sure. I don't really pay attention to the crowd. I'm just trying to watch the content. But, I mean, okay... The most recent thing, and this is the thing that's a big talk about right now, is Sting's return.
Yes, 100%. So,
Sting's
I don't know
return
about you guys, but let me tell you about my, I'm a huge fan, but it's like, so, I watched WWE as a kid, took a long year hiatus, because, like, my siblings was like, dude, stop watching it, it's fake, and it's like, don't ever watch it, and I was like, okay. But then you were like, in high school, it's like, dude, what are you doing? Watch it. And I was like, okay. So it's like, I was kind of, and this is like a decade. I've like skipped a decade. So I had to rewatch a lot of content. So I came in at Survivor Series 2015, right? Survivor 2015 is when Sting debuted, right?
Well, like, okay, so he was in the WWE.
No,
he left
really
after that WrestleMania.
Technically, because I know Vince McMahon bought WCW, and Sting was one of those
No, but that's the thing, is Sting, he didn't want to... He wasn't a WWE superstar. He was from another brand
WCW.
That he just thought of doing a match, and he always wanted to have a match in WrestleMania,
dude,
which is what happened, hence WrestleMania 31, was it?
Okay. Yeah.
31,
so,
Sting versus Triple H.
Dude, I swear, when I was watching... I mean... basically, this is what was huge. So I was coming
Might I add this before we go on about it? That's probably my favorite WrestleMania along with WrestleMania 33. Okay, so 31 and 33.
I just want to say, like, we have a different tier list, of course, but it's like, I just want to say, when I had got back to it, I really was getting back to it, because I just want to say, in 2014 is when the Taker streak unfortunately ended. Of course, sadly, they had to push over superstars because, it's a new generation. And Lesnar, you know how it is, right? That's how you have to do it. That's how business is.
I just find it weird that they had, like, out of all the people that they could have end the streak,
No, but listen, it's for what's best for business, and Vince McMahon wanted to push Brock Lesnar over, and he did. That was huge. But Taker also wanted Roman Reigns to end the streak, right? If you watch the Last Ride documentary... Yeah,
that was at WrestleMania 33, that's what happened, he had Roman Reigns
beat him again. Roman to end the streak, because, but Vince came up to him, and he was like,
It's because this is how... WWE works very weirdly sometimes, and they decided to think Brock Lesnar should be the one to do it.
Yeah,
but
he's like the next big thing, technically, right? So
they just thought, because I don't know. It was
Yeah,
the whole thing.
I remember I was watching the last ride, and then Taker was like, and it was in the nighttime. We were like talking about like him and Vince. We were basically like saying, okay, you know what, the streak goes on, and then in the morning, of course, you could see Vince's face. Still, he wasn't happy. He was like,
Yeah,
"Are you
yeah,
sure
yeah.
he's okay if we end the streak?" And well, if you guys don't know the streak, it's one of the biggest sports streaks ever. People consider wrestling not a sport. Of course, people would say, "Oh, it's fake, it's fake." Yes, but the pain that some superstars go through, like for example, you have back injuries, you have like torn quads, you have like a lot
Okay,
of
now here's
broken
the thing I'm
bones,
gonna
like
bring up because
Mick
there's a lot of
Foley.
fans I know. There's a lot of fans that are
I
gonna
just,
say, "Oh my God,
yeah, it's fake,
wrestling
but
is fake. Wrestling is fake."
I just
But
want to say
listen,
one proof to say that it's real. The name Mick Foley always comes to mind. This guy gave his
yeah.
body to the business, like.
This is the thing. Like people say,
If
yes,
you
okay, it's
don't
fake and it's
know
scripted.
what,
We all know that. We all know
yeah,
it's
we know
fake and
it's
scripted.
scripted. We know it's like it's scripted. It's a bunch
But
of
what people have to keep in mind is they do get hurt, they do get injured, is because look at the things they do. They fall from the top of steel cages. They put themselves through tables. They get hit with steel chairs on the back.
yeah,
Like the amount of things that they do, like it brings me to yesterday's pay-per-view for HWE. It's like the same thing. Like
yeah. I mean,
it is fake, it is scripted, but we do know what the pain goes through when you get like hit with something, right?
yeah. I mean, I just want to say, we could go on to WWE later, but it's like I just want to still be in WWE. But so, you were talking about like, let's talk about like some games as well. Like, um, you of course are a fan, huge fan of the WWE games. I am also. Of course, did you play 2K20? I'm not sure if you did.
No, that's probably the one game I haven't bought. I still have 2K19. It's because I don't really have time to play games anymore, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I do have the games, I do play them when I get the chance, um, but I don't have that one yet, but I still need that game.
I
I
see.
do have every game, though. I have the one from the Stone Cold on the cover up till 2K19.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have all the games except 2K20. But I do
Okay.
remember the classic SmackDown versus Raw games.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to say, let's see. I'm just gonna try to go down the list. Really. What would be like your top favorite WWE game as a kid? Like, currently, right now, your top favorite.
Um, if I'm gonna be honest about storylines and everything,
I mean,
um,
you're playing the game. How's it
prob-
great? Like.
I would probably have to go with 2K18. Like so far, with my favorite storyline and the ones that I've played,
Yeah.
it has to be 2K18. Like, and especially,
Uh huh.
I forget who was that Brock Lesnar on the cover of that one or no?
I
No,
think
who was it on the cover?
2017 was Brock. 2018
Yeah,
was
2K17 was Brock.
Goldberg.
Yeah. I think
Goldberg.
it's Goldberg that's
Well,
on the
because
cover
I
of that.
remember strictly Goldberg came to WWE, and people
And
were
that's when
like,
they had the
dude,
Goldberg
Brock
storyline and
versus
everything.
like Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg, which I would have to say these guys have made it. Like, I don't remember if you guys know this, but a long time ago, for people who watch old school WWE, WrestleMania
Yeah.
20 was it?
Yeah,
Goldberg and
it
Brock
was
faced, and the
WrestleMania
crowd
20.
did not really love it.
No, but you
So
know why? This is the thing. Like, I was watching a documentary on the WWE Network.
yeah.
It said it's because they were both leaving the company. Brock was going to
I
UFC,
remember. Yeah, I
and
remember
Goldberg was
that.
going.
Yeah,
Because
Goldberg was
Brock was
leaving,
going
and
to
Brock was
UFC.
going to MMA or something like that.
Yeah, and
I just wanted to say, speaking about the WWE Network, feel free, guys, to watch any WWE content there. I don't really use it. Like, I remember you told me, dude, if you go to WWE Network, this was a long time ago, you're like, you can watch things. I was like, I don't know. And then you try to get me into, watching WWE. So, like, I have to go to this loophole about watching, like, these series, like, Mrs. Mrs., Total Divas, and of course, like,
I tried to, like, for me when I'm watching the WWE Network, I just watch the stuff that was good. Like, if it's content that's
yeah.
really good, I'm going to watch. Like, especially pay-per-views that were really good that I thought were the best pay-per-views in my opinion. Like, I'm still watching SummerSlam 2K19 when it was in Toronto. You remember that? I'm still watching that pay-per-view. That's probably my favorite SummerSlam pay-per-view, knowing that one was in Toronto. Like, that
Canada,
was
of course, any Canada pay-per-views like we like, so it's like Montreal, of course Calgary. But let me.
But you know what? This is the thing. So before COVID happened, March 14th, that's the day everything closed, and that was also the day I was supposed to go to a WWE live event. I paid almost $200 for front row tickets, and then only to get a notification saying that you're getting your money back. The event's been canceled due to COVID. I was like, that was the most sad. I was so mad.
If I was supposed to fulfill a dream as a kid, 100% I would be like going with either one of my siblings or with you to a WWE show, because I was a huge WWE fan, but because I'm broke, I couldn't really go to a show. I didn't have.
No, but you know what? I'm happy. That year when SummerSlam came to Toronto, I got the opportunity to go shake hands with Christian. That was probably
you took a long way down south to Toronto, and then you went to go meet with those meet and greets with superstars. So it's like, tell me about Christian. Like, I remember when I saw that post, you're like, dude, guess who I got to meet? I was like, who? You update your profiles like in Facebook and like Instagram, and I was like, this fucking guy met Christian. Like, out of all the superstars, dude, that would be on my list. I should meet, like, Canadian, of course. Trish Stratus.
I did the 5-second pose with the guy, man. I did the 5-second pose.
Yeah, you're lucky. Top Canadians I would like to meet.
You know, that was definitely worth, because, like, it was a long, might I add, it was a long drive to Toronto. I mean, it was like 2 hours. It took 2 hours to get from where I am now to Toronto.
I mean, I just want to say one thing. What would be like your top people to meet, like, of Canadian wrestlers? For me, 100%. Okay. Top of the list, Bret the Hitman Hart. That is one dude I want to meet for life. I want to meet him because I've been like I'll be a stan of like Bret the Hitman, basically like a hardcore fan, because I like most of
this is the thing right now. The thing right now is I am doing everything in my power to meet Edge, and because he lives in Orangeville, California.
Okay, dude, calm down. You don't want to dox him. It's like, calm down. But yeah, Edge, of course, 100%. I want to meet him as a kid because
so look, this is the thing. You know what, though? When I went to the meet and greet, this is what had me more ticked off.
What?
So I heard people who went to the morning meet and greet got to meet every superstar that was in the room.
Oh, damn.
Me, I went to the afternoon one because I didn't want to wake up earlier than I had to just to be in Toronto.
Come on, the early bird gets the worm, my dude. What are you doing?
I know. I really regretted it because
imagine if Taker was there.
I mean, there were so many people in the afternoon one versus the morning one. I heard it was crazy. Like, I literally only got to meet 3 superstars, and if I did want to meet a certain superstar, I would have to pay an extra $200-something to meet them, like Seth Rollins or Becky Lynch or.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to say one thing. So, dude, let's see. I'm just trying to go down the list. So, Bret the Hitman Hart would be 100%. Christian, Edge is a tie, of course. I wish I could have met Owen. I wish Owen.
If I had went, this is the thing that has me even more mad. If I went the day before, like, because there was Elias, the guitar playing guy. He was at Scotiabank Arena the day before doing autograph signings.
Oh, cool.
If I had went that day before, Edge was inside that very room, I could have met him.
I mean,
I could have met Edge, but I had work, so I couldn't go.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Well, who would be your top 5 to me, or top 10, kind of like?
Right now?
Yeah.
Right now, as it stands, my top 5 is number 1, The Undertaker.
No, I mean Canadian wrestlers.
Oh, Canadian. Okay. Well, if we're talking Canadian wrestlers, it's definitely Bret. We definitely got to meet Edge.
Yeah.
Christian
who else already met, but I don't mind. Like, you could go meet him again. I mean, dude, the things like you guys could have like conversations with, that would be
like okay. So I was happy. I was very happy to meet Christian, and it was very. It was a very intriguing moment. I was very happy for that to happen. I was literally the only reason I showed up to that was to go meet Christian, and I got that.
Of course,
I met
a lot of Canadian fans of wrestling, whether you're whether you're in Montreal or Calgary or like wherever.
Trust me, I've had a lot of like people who know wrestling. They're like, "Oh my God, you're so lucky you got to meet him."
Yeah, most hardcore Canadian wrestling fans would be like going like what you did. You took a 2-hour trip to Toronto, and you would take a lot of trips. Whether it's like most hardcore Canadian wrestling fans would do whatever to meet like their Canadian idols, right? Like Bret, Edge, of course, Christian, Trish Stratus, of course, one of the best female wrestlers.
Yeah, Trish Stratus, Trish Stratus lives in Toronto, but right now I think she's out in her cottage. Like, if I'm not mistaken, I think she's in her cottage right now, and she's not
back in our early days, a lot of guys would.
But she does live in Toronto.
A lot of guys simp for Trish. I mean, you gotta be honest. A lot of guys simped for Trish Stratus, her and Lita, and of course, he had all the other.
Like, as much, okay. If there's anyone else,
you had a crush on Trish, like growing up.
I mean, that's something that most people would. Me, in my opinion, like I wasn't into the WWE superstars as much. Like I was strictly to myself. I went to be honest, when it came to a lot of things, I wasn't really paying attention to the women's matches. Like when I was a younger boy, I didn't really care for them. I would I was the kid. I was the kid that when a tag team or women's match came on, I would like go eat food or something because I didn't care to watch it. I was only waiting for like.
And I just want to add a note. It had nothing to do like you're not sexist or anything. But it's just,
no, I'm not.
For the time, like people like during when we were younger, people would be like, okay, you watched a show. Some people would leave at the arena, and they'll be like, okay.
Okay, so I'm not sexist.
It's like, there's nothing really going on, like these guys are wrestling.
See, I have nothing wrong with it. Like nothing wrong.
People should have gave them credit, and I still, to this day, like I respect the hustle. Like people, like one of those Canadian superstars I want to meet so much is Natalia Neidhart.
That's like the closest right now that you'll get to the Hart family.
Her father is Jim Deanne Neidhart. Sadly, he passed away a few
he passed away.
Sadly, but he was one of the tag teams for the Hart Foundation, which was one of my favorite tag teams growing up as a kid. Even though like in the early 2000s, these guys were like one of those Canadian tag teams legends that I really admired. So when Jim passed, I was like, damn, I can't believe it. And then
keep in mind, recently we've had a passing in the WWE not that long ago.
I just want to say, like, rest in peace to all those legends that passed.
How many legends have we lost this year alone?
I don't want to think about it, but dude, like, there's been like Howard Finkel, one of the best ring announcers. Of course, when Edge and Orton had the recent rivalry, they had, I don't know if you remembered, they had the greatest wrestling match, and they had Howard Finkel, the voice.
Yeah.
There was a voice like, all right, so you're standing for one fall. And it's like making his way to the ring, and it was like a tribute.
It was a very good tribute to him at all.
I don't think you realize, but they had the whole mic thing, like for, I think it was Madison Square Garden, or it was like...
Yeah, Madison Square, that's where they did.
Where they had the weird mic type of thing with, like, Howard Finkel. Of course, one of those anchormen that I miss a lot was Mean Gene. Even though if I never grew up with like the 80s and 90s, these guys were legends. Kamala.
I took a picture by his standee when I went to the meet and greet thing. I took a picture by his standee. I was like, if only he was here right now, I would love to totally take a picture by the guy.
Sadly, I really want to go down the list. I never saw this coming. I was watching The Dark Side of the Ring, who these guys are amazing. They do actually dark sides. It's in the title, like, dark stories about, in the beyond wrestling, right? Sadly, Road Warrior Animal passed, and I was shocked to hear this. I was like, there's no way. I look on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's like,
you know what though? It's been
I was like, come on! I just watched a documentary of him. Like, it can't. And I was like, really hope the Legion of Doom are reunited up in heaven. Like, there's no other.
You know what though? It's something that it's just happened. We've grown up watching these people. We've grown up watching them fight. We've grown up watching them retire. Like, it's just it's always going to end up happening to where things like that happen.
I mean, okay. I just want to say.
But you know what?
Yeah.
One more thing before you say what you have to say. All I'm going to say is one passing in the WWE that nobody we'll be ready for is the day that the Undertaker passed.
Yeah, I really don't want to think about that, but it's like I know what you're saying, but let's talk about like I just want to know. I know passing is it's normal in life, but of course as a kid, these idols you grew up with and like people you admired, one of those people would be like Pat Patterson. If you don't know, he was a man who recently passed.
Yeah.
And I was like,
if they don't do something at the Royal Rumble this year for him, if
this
they
guy
don't,
was like for those who don't know who he is, he's the guy who's the first intercontinental champion, right? He's the first gay wrestler, or like I guess the one that he opened. I think I'm not sure, but
he didn't open up. It was on one of those table for three episodes
of Legends, and I was like, damn. I mean, I understand.
You know what? Honestly, this is one thing I have to say about Pat Patterson. When I was watching that episode in specific, and that he came out officially to the world, I was like, it took that many years, and I'm just happy that he was strong enough to come out and be happy about it, and that he had people who supported him. Like, because keep in mind, nobody in the WWE would ever hate him for it. Nobody would ever like discriminate him for it. But he finally, after many, many, many years,
came out.
How long it took
and then
come out as gay. And you know what? I felt bad at that moment. Like I see him cheering up. I was about to tear up. I was like, "That's just crazy. That's crazy."
I mean, of course, it has to do with time, right? Society as a whole.
That's the thing. Is because society was the way that it is. People, he always probably thought that somebody was going to hate him for it, but he had his legends by his corner. He had them to say, "It's okay. Don't worry. We support you."
Is there anything else you want to talk about wrestling, really, in general? I was just wondering. Because we were going on throughout, like, WWE rivalries. We never talked about rivalries. We could make this podcast even longer. It's up to you if you have time. Do you have time, or?
I'm good for a little bit longer.
And they have a busy. I'm not sure because of COVID.
I still have a few things that I have to do today, but it's okay. We can still talk about something. I have a bit. It's not like I'm in a rush. I just have to.
Let's talk about rivalries. Name your top rivalry. And if you want
my top rivalry,
name your.
I'm gonna go with. You know what? If there was any favorite rivalry for me, it would have to be the whole Undertaker versus Edge rivalry. Like, that's probably my all-time favorite one. Like, it's because it's two people who I literally enjoy watching in the ring at the same time. I remember the WrestleMania match, and I remember that Hell in a Cell match they had when Edge got buried, like, literally put through the ring.
Oh my god, dude, I remember seeing that as a kid. Everyone was like, dude, I think he took the match a bit too seriously, because as a kid, you wouldn't think that it's staged, right? As a kid, you're like,
you wouldn't,
dude, this
like,
guy
you're like,
just
oh my god, he just got put through.
I remember, he puts him through, and then he's just Undertaker is on his knees, and he raises up his hands, and then fire
and then you see the flames, and you're like, whoa,
what the? I was like, they killed him.
It's like, good God Almighty, he killed Edge. Good God Almighty.
WWE being WWE, they it's this guy comes back, and we're like, wait, didn't this guy go up in a cloud of smoke or something? But
good God Almighty, Edge is dead. Edge is dead. He got buried.
Okay, so let's talk about your Mount Rushmore of the legends. I know if you were supposed to name 4 people, from your childhood, who would be?
Wow.
Like 4 people. 4 or 5 icons. I'm not sure. Mount Rushmore, I'm not American, so.
Well, recently, gotta say, there's like so many people that I could want to meet, but it's like hard.
A lot. Like for me, I want to know.
You know what? To be honest, I'm gonna be completely honest. One person that I would shake hands with is Kurt Angle. If I got the opportunity to shake hands with Kurt Angle.
Yeah, I mean, you can't blame him, dude. This guy was an Olympic gold medalist coming to WWE.
He was an actual pro wrestler. Like, he literally did wrestling, like high school wrestling. He didn't do like WWE wrestling. Yeah. So he has wrestling skills already. He made it into the Olympics and got a gold medal, and then from there went to the WWE to become a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
Like,
do you want to hear?
This guy already has good.
I was gonna say, do you want to hear my list of top rivalries?
Yeah, okay. Before you get to that, I was just going to say I am really disappointed with the way that they retired Kurt Angle, though. Like, WrestleMania.
I think it's okay in my point of view.
No, but, like, he faced Baron Corbin. Like, I was expecting them to put him against John Cena or something like that. Like,
yeah,
his first
a lot of people were like, dude, I want to see the old school ruthless aggression. And then it's like, John Cena comes out.
But then we get...
like, it's okay. I mean, not a lot of things, it's like, of course, probably Cena was busy. Like, he had with Nikki Bella and during WrestleMania 33, was it, right? With Miz. That was a great match. I liked it. And then I just want to say my top rivalry would be Undertaker and Kane on the top of the list.
Oh, yeah.
The story... I don't know if you saw the documentary. Definitely go see the documentary of the Brothers of Destruction.
No, I did. I haven't watched that yet, but I did watch like a bunch of things like before about the Brothers of Destruction. Like I haven't watched the actual documentary yet. I still want to watch it.
Yeah. You gotta see it. I saw it. I just want to say, if there's one person I would want to meet, would be Paul Bearer, the manager of Undertaker and Kane.
Yeah, that's another person that unfortunately passed away.
Yeah, I want to see. If I could ever meet, I want to meet Kane. And
I'm really happy that let's add that at the ceremony of Undertaker's retiring. I'm happy that they paid tribute to Paul Bearer. Like that
was kind of tearing up when I was like,
that's like literally. That's what I'm saying.
I hated to see it, but when he said the Undertaker rests in peace, I was like, it's not over yet. I'm not gonna say goodbye. I'm just gonna say thank you. But when I do say goodbye, it would be when the Undertaker is dead. But it's like he's not.
It's just a see you later right now.
But dude, I'm just like, I was crushed when it's like, you can't blame him really. This guy's like 54. He dedicated his whole
but actually he planned it out. He planned this out very well. He retired on the exact same day 30 years ago that he debuted.
Which is fitting, very fitting.
Very fitting. Like I'm happy that he did it that way. Like literally, it's 30 years. Like it's exactly 30 years from the day he debuted on the same day, the same pay-per-view, the same time. Like everything just fit well.
Yeah, I just want to go through my list a bit. Of course, there's Undertaker and Kane. Nobody can. You heard of the reuniting of DX, but what some fans might not know. Any early fans of WWE, they'll be like, "Who's DX? Who's this?" Okay, some kids who don't know, Triple H, Shawn Michaels had an insane rivalry. It was amazing. Of course, I was probably too small to remember, but because of YouTube, I would like refresh and I was like remind myself, okay, Shawn and Hunter had a match, and it's like it was incredible. It was like, of course, you had one of my favorite rivalries. 100% has to be Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. I've got
to say with that
best match of WrestleMania. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 26.
That is WrestleMania history right there. Career versus the streak.
Oh my god, dude. Both Shawn, of course, he was a cocky dude when he was younger, so it's so fitting to see how he grew up. He had so much respect. And,
but I mean, it's not like, because he still came back. He still had his few matches. Like it's not like his career was over. He still had matches.
Yeah, of course. No one could forget one of the, I would say, not bad feuds. I wish Shawn and Bret would have faced again, but unfortunately they didn't. But what was even better was that Bret finally got the respect he deserved. He finished the character known as Vince McMahon in WrestleMania 26. Hopefully everything are patched up, but if you guys don't know the Montreal Screwjob, people say wrestling is scripted. For those people who don't know, that is one of the hugest things that weren't scripted in wrestling history. When Vince McMahon screwed Bret the Hitman Hart in his own.
I remember they did the sort of had a same storyline because it was also in Montreal. You remember the pay-per-view, Charlotte Flair.
Oh yeah, I remember versus Natalia, and then Bret came to a thing, and people were like,
the thing is, because at that time it was only Bret Hart at ringside, and then the ref called the match when Natalia didn't tap.
Yeah, I mean I was like. I remember you told me that. I was like, I rewatched it. I was like, hey, come on! I know what you guys are doing.
And that was that was really, I don't understand what happened there, but it was also in Montreal. Like it's just coincidental that they also did that pay-per-view in Montreal, and they did the same thing. The ref calls the match, Natalia doesn't even tap, and Charlotte wins the match, and then somehow wins the title again.
I just want to see, no joke. To be honest, Hart family has an insane lineage, dating back to the man who made it, the legend, Canadian pioneer. I would like to call him a pioneer of wrestling, kind of, the legend Stu Hart. Of course, he, for people who don't know, this guy was like one of the best Canadian wrestlers out there, and he's a wrestling promoter. His son, Owen, I really wish Owen Hart would be alive today, but
that was like something, like this is another thing in the WWE history that was on live television.
Yeah, sadly, I know we could go on and on about Owen, but
we could go on about it, and a lot of things we can go on and on about.
I wish Owen would be recognized in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure it's about the family, right? Owen's family. But yeah, anyway, let's talk about like favorite. I was going through like you already know my list. It's huge. So anyway, let's talk about top WrestleManias. For me, number one would have to be 25, 26, and then you had 30, 32, 31, and 33 kind of rubbed me a bit wrong because I feel like Taker wasn't really at his prime to give Roman a good match, and I know Taker knew this, but to be honest, what can you do? He's at an old age, and I still respected his grind, so it's like, Taker's good. But yeah, 36, I know 36 was kind of, 36, it had cinematic type of thing, which was not really
It was very, okay.
It was not my type of wrestling type of thing, but it was like, it was okay. I was okay with it.
It was a very unique pay-per-view in like WrestleMania 36.
Yeah,
we had many matches, and it took 2 nights. Like, they had it one on Saturday, one on Sunday. Like, that's something that I really... Okay, I enjoy having 2 nights of WrestleMania and 2 nights of amazing matches, but I'd rather just have that one huge event. Like, it gives me one huge event with all these matches, and then it will last from, like, 7 or 6 all the way till midnight, like, like they usually do. But now, this one, they ended it at, like, 10:30, and it wasn't, like...
I just want to say, anything else we could tackle with WWE? I think that's about it, really. I feel bad because I know Vince, it kind of hurted Vince to know that Sting left the company because of an injury, and then it was kind of, heartbroken, I'm pretty sure, to Vince because, Sting was under a contract, and I'm guessing his contract, I don't think his contract expired, really, but, he's back, he went to AEW, and I was like, no, you can't, come on. I was like, why? That was shocking. But anyway, I don't know if we should close it, but is there any else topic? Let's go into HWE.
So we've had Tar Wrestling. If we want to talk more, we can save that for another podcast, another time or something.
I mean, it's up to you if you want to talk a little bit.
All right, because I still have to get ready and everything. So let's get into our last topic of the night.
Okay.
For now.
Last topic. I'll just have to say, it's up to you if you want to redo this podcast again. But it's I just want to say. We're gonna.
You're always more than welcome to let me know. Like if you want me as a special guest on your podcast again. I know you're going to be having quite a few people on your podcast, like your friends from YouTube and everything.
Yeah. I just wanted to, since it is your birthday, I just want to say happy birthday.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Drac.
Thank you for being a great friend. You also introduced
we've had many fun years together.
So for people who don't know, Joey introduced me to the whole YouTube. Of course, I want to be a YouTuber, but Joey was like, he was the flame that kind of ignited. He was like, what are you doing? If you want to become a YouTuber, go for it. And I was like, okay. If you guys don't know, I want to see MasterJoe Gamer return. For those who don't know, it's my boy Joey here. His YouTube channel, he's a gamer too. I want to see him return, but it's up to you guys if you want to see him return.
Yeah, recently, I would love to. I would love to return to the YouTube.
Because this guy still is sitting on 1K. But still, let's end this on a good thing. I like to do this with my guests. Tell me, what are you thankful for? Since it could be before your birthday, but let's just throughout the whole thing.
You know what?
What are you thankful for?
To be honest, let's go on about I know this year hasn't been the best, and it's honestly almost over, and we're obviously gonna be starting 2021 with lockdowns and everything. But you know what?
Yeah.
I'm just thankful that I have my friends in my life. I'm thankful that I have my girlfriend. I'm thankful to have my family.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thankful to have everyone in my life that keeps it going, keeps me happy. You know, everything. Like, it's good to have people in life that you can talk to and that will support you. And you know, it's always good to have friends and people to talk to.
Yeah.
Because especially with hard times like COVID, not many people have people who they can talk to. So it's good to have somebody that you can like let out any stress or anger or
I
like
really,
whatever you can.
yeah, I understand it. Of course, I know where you're coming from. Without further ado, guys, I think that's about it, right? We tackled a lot of things.
All right, so let's talk about HWE before we end this, and then we're gonna.
Yeah, let's talk about a little bit about HWE. Go ahead, shoot.
All right, everybody. So for those of you who don't know about HWE, it is Hectic Wrestling Entertainment. That is my wrestling company. So you guys can feel free to follow me and check me out on _North Nightmare _. It's all the content gets uploaded there after every pay-per-view. There's like one pay-per-view a month. Yeah. We recently just had the Cold War pay-per-view yesterday.
Yeah, I debuted. I had to debut. So you guys are gonna get into my character a bit. I created my own HWE character. We'll see how it goes. Of course, I'm just saying as for you, since you are the owner of HWE. I am doing college soon, so of course my schedule might be not that fitting.
Yeah, but obviously your schedule will change. Obviously you will be busy.
But yeah, tell me about HWE.
We will still have you, like, we still have many plans for the Monster. Many plans.
Yeah.
We have a lot of things that I'm not going to spoil. I don't want to say anything because I don't want anybody to really know about it until the day it happens. But for any of you who are interested into the HWE, our next pay-per-view is coming up on January 2nd. Fatal 4-way match. The Monster, the King, Joey River, and Xenoverse. Yeah. For the Universal and Heavyweight title.
Yeah, okay.
Now, HWE, I'm happy that we are happy to welcome the Monster, and
I'm glad to be here. I'm just saying, it's like, we'll see. I'll see if I'll see how.
Well, we've had long talks about this. We've been talking about it for a while. You debuting, we're like, when am I going to come? Yeah. When is it going to happen? And then we finally planned it, and it came at the right time. Like, it's the perfect way to end off the pay-per-views for 2020.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you. Of course, I feel like this podcast should debut in the 3 years that's coming December 24th, 3 years of this channel. So I just want to debut this podcast, and we'll see how it goes from day one.
Yeah, and if you ever want to do this again and have me as your special guest, you can always let me know.
But yeah,
I will be glad.
Hope you have a great day. Really, hope you have a great birthday. Yeah. And
thanks, Drac.
Yeah, no worries. Of course, for those who don't know, I will plug in MasterJoe Gamer, his YouTube channel, his IG, to make sure on any HWE post. Of course, my socials are in there. This podcast will be available on YouTube. I'll see if it's available on Spotify. I'll have to set some things up. Until then, thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening. I really much appreciate it. See you guys until the next episode. Thank you guys.
All right.
Drac AQUA and my boy Joey River, aka MasterJoe Gamer, signing out. Peace.
All right. Thank you, everybody. See you.